सभी को मेरा नमस्कार. I hope you all are in good health with your family. I welcome you all in the class of Money and Banking. Today we will start with the second chapter of macroeconomics, that is Money and Banking. And the weightage of this chapter in CBSE board examination is 6 marks. So now we will begin with the chapter. First of all, I will tell you the topics which we have to cover in this chapter. These are the following topics which we have to cover in Money and Banking chapter. First topic is meaning of money. Second topic is meaning of money supply. Third topic is components of money supply. Fourth topic is money or credit creation by commercial bank. Fifth topic which we have to cover in this chapter is functions of central bank. And the last topic which we have to cover in this chapter is controller of money supply and credit. In this video, I will explain meaning of money supply, components of money supply, and money or credit creation by the commercial bank. Let's begin with the definition of money. Money is anything which is generally accepted as medium of exchange, measure of value, store of value, and as means of standard deferred payment. I will explain you all the features of money. First is accepted as medium of exchange. Money is a medium of exchange means money as a means of payment for exchange of goods and services. Money acts as medium, or we can call it as intermediary also, between the buyers and the seller of goods and services. You all buy something or the other thing in your day-to-day life, and what you give for purchasing goods, you give money in return of the goods and services which you purchase in your daily life. Money as a measure of value, or we can call it as unit of account also. It means a standard unit for quoting prices. In other words, we can say also value of each goods or services is measured in terms of money. The things around you, you calculate the value of the goods around you or things around you in the terms of money. Money as a store of value. Store of value means store of wealth or for use in future. Money is not perishable, and its storage costs are also very low. It is also acceptable to anyone at any point of time. So we can say that money acts as store of value for us. Money also serves as a standard of deferred payment. Children, deferred payment refers to those payments which are made to be in future. You have already studied about retirement pension in the chapter National Income Accounting. Retirement pension is also a deferred payment. I will explain this with the help of an example. Suppose you borrow a sum of rupees 20,000 at 10% interest per annum for 1 year. It means that you are promising to pay 22,000. How come 22,000? 20,000 as the principal and 2,000 as the interest after 1 year. This is the deferred payment, and in terms of money only you can make the deferred payment. Now we can have the definition of money again. Money is anything which is generally accepted as medium of exchange, measure of value, store of value, and as means of standard of deferred payment. Now we will study about money supply. What do you mean by money supply? Money supply refers to the total volume of money held by public at particular point of time in an economy. What is the volume of money that public is having in their hand? That is money supply, and it is calculated at particular point of time, and as it is calculated at particular point of time, it is a stock variable. Now, what are the components of money supply? There are two components of money supply. First component is currency held with the public. What type of currency public is having in their hand? like coins, like notes, and deposit at banks. Here we are talking about two types of deposit. First is saving account deposit and second is current account deposit. Demand deposits are the deposits which can be withdrawn from banks on demand by writing checks or through debit cards. Demand deposits are created by the commercial bank, are known as bank money. We have one term called as interbank deposit. It is a deposit which a commercial bank is holding in other commercial banks, and they are not to be regarded as a part of money supply. Money supply has only two components. First component is currency held with the public and second component is deposit at banks. We can write it like this also. M1 is equal to C plus DD. C stands for currency held with the public and DD stands for demand deposit held with the commercial bank. Now let's have a latest figures related to money supply in our country. India's money supply, that is M1, was reported as $531.221 billion in April 2020, and this records a decrease from the previous number of $553.456 billion for March 2020. You can see that from March to April our money supply has been reduced from 553.456, it has been reduced to $531.221 billion. We had all-time high of money supply of $553.456 billion in March 2020 and a record low of $4.740 billion in January 1957. Now I will explain you about the credit creation by commercial bank. Always remember that money creation or credit creation or deposit creation is done by the commercial banks. Money creation refers to the deposit or credit creation by commercial banks as some multiple of initial deposit depending upon the legal reserve ratio. Yes, money creation is dependent on initial deposit and the legal reserve ratio. We will discuss all these parts now. Money creation is one of the crucial functions performed by a commercial bank, and commercial bank is responsible for putting currency in circulation through the process of credit creation or the lending process. There are two important functions of commercial bank. First is accepting deposit from the customers, and second important function of commercial bank is to lend funds to the people. Commercial banks receive deposit from the public and bank use this money for giving loans to other people, but the banks cannot use the whole of deposit for this purpose. It is legally compulsory for the banks to keep a certain minimum fraction of net total demand and time deposit as cash reserves with the Reserve Bank of India, and we can call it as legal reserve ratio. It is fixed by the central bank, that is Reserve Bank of India. And legal reserve ratio has two components. First is cash reserve ratio, that is CRR. Second is statutory liquidity ratio, that is SLR. CRR is the fraction of net total demand and time deposit that commercial bank must keep as cash reserve with the central bank, that is Reserve Bank of India. And statutory liquidity ratio is the fraction of net total demand and time deposits that commercial bank must keep with themselves in the form of specified liquid assets. and these are the two components of legal reserve ratio, which is important part of credit creation or money creation. Now I will explain the process of credit creation with the help of a numerical example. And we have to assume that there is only one bank in the economy, and all the receipt and payment in the economy are routed through the same bank, and the one who makes payment does it by writing check, and the one who receive payment deposit in the same in his deposit account. Now suppose there is an initial deposit of rupees 1000 and legal reserve ratio is 20%. I am assuming this legal reserve ratio. I have supposed that I am assuming it as 20%. The banks have to keep rupees 200. 20% of 1000 is 200. The bank has to keep this 200 amount with central bank, and bank will lend the rest of the amount, that is 800, to other people. All the transactions are routed through the same bank that we have assumed already. The borrower withdraws his 800 for making payments which are routed through bank in the form of deposit account. The bank receives rupees 800 as deposits and keeps 20% of 800, that is 160, as cash reserve with central bank and lends rest of the amount, that is 640, to the people. Again the borrower uses this for payment which flows back into the bank, thereby increases the flow of deposit. Now this is the tabular presentation of process of credit creation. You can see that initial deposit was rupees 1000 and we have assumed legal reserve ratio as 20%. Here I have written it as cash reserve ratio because there is only one bank, SLR is 0, so whatever will be the legal reserve ratio, that is our cash reserve ratio. Both will be the same. 20% of 1000 is 200. This amount 200 amount will be kept with the RBI as cash reserve, and the rest of the amount is used by the commercial bank for lending. The loan amount was 800 and the borrower have used this amount, and somehow this 800 is again deposited in the bank, and now 20% of 800 is 160, and 160 is kept as cash reserve with the central bank, and the left amount, that is 640, will be used by the commercial bank for lending, and again in the next round 640 will be again deposited in the commercial bank by the borrower. See, this 640 is the deposited amount in the commercial bank, and 20% of 640 is 512, and 512 is the amount which commercial bank used for lending. We can calculate the total credit created with the help of money multiplier. Money multiplier refers to the process of creation of credit by the commercial bank with the help of initial deposit made by the public and legal reserve ratio. You can see the formula of money multiplier is equal to 1 divided by legal reserve ratio, that is LRR. And in the above example, LRR is 20%, that is 0.2, and 1 divided by 0.2 comes out as 5. Money multiplier in this example is 5. Now we will calculate the total credit created by multiplying 5 by 1000. That comes to as 5000. Total credit created is rupees 5000 in this example, and the formula of total credit creation is money multiplier multiplied by the initial deposit. Here the money multiplier is 5 and we have multiplied the money multiplier by the initial deposit, that is 1000, and the total credit created in this example is 5000. So I hope you all have understood the meaning of money supply, components of money supply, and process of credit creation by the commercial bank. Thank you.